right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the PokerNews podcast. I'm Chad Holloway, joined by Jeff Platt. Jeff, it's been another exciting week in Las Vegas. We've got a lot to talk about, and we've got a great guest. We have Deborah Giardina out of bestbet Jacksonville. She's going to come on the show. She's going to tell us all about why bestbet Jacksonville has established itself as one of the premier East Coast poker destinations, as well as some upcoming tournament plans over there. She is a Women in Poker Hall of Famer, industry veteran, very well respected. So looking forward to our chat with Deborah Giardina. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm just waiting here. I'm just anxiously waiting, Chad, for you to break down a day in the life with 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth.
It was a special treat for sure. So yeah, if you've seen my social media, you've seen some videos, some clips of some behind the scenes footage, if you will, of one Mr. Phil Hellmuth at the Aria grinding the WSOP online bracelets. I thought it'd be fun to go there, catch up with the poker brat himself, and really give fans a look at what he does during the summer, during these online grinds. And he was kind enough to have us up into his suite to give us a tour. And then he actually invited us to go with him to the gym where he was getting in a workout while he played the WSOP bracelet event, which he did end up cashing, by the way. And yeah, it was, a little mini viral clips, if you will. And we're actually putting together a longer video for PokerNews that should be up and out here very shortly. But it was a fun day, to say the least.
I can't wait. That looks awesome. And it's a great idea. It's great content, right? To follow Phil Hellmuth around for a day, knowing he's so invested, he's so passionate about these World Series of Poker bracelet events. I'm glad y'all had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, thanks to him for opening up his home, if you will, his home away from home. And Phil's a good sport, right? He knows he's going to catch a little heckling from working out in the gym and what have you, but he goes there, he gets it done. I mean, look, the guy takes a lot of heat, but he just keeps delivering. We've talked about it on the show. He was, 6-0 in the high stakes duel between Antonio Esfandiari and Daniel Negreanu. So I'm excited. I want to see him make a run at a bracelet in these online events, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens.
Yeah, I'm very curious. At the time of taping this recording, the $5,300 high roller is about to take place on World Series of Poker Online. So I think he's going to mix it up, and that's going to be a really tough field. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
We're going to talk about some bracelet winners here coming up and some other poker news. But before we do, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to one of our sponsors, Elite Chip Care.
Are your chips dirty and unsanitary? Elite Chip Care's ultrasonic cleaners kill bacteria and pathogens without using chemicals. Protect your team from potentially hazardous chemicals, UV, and gases. For daily sanitizing of your chips, our laboratory oven will eradicate most viruses using only heat. Up to 2,500 chips sanitized in just 3 minutes. Avoid the reoccurring expense of costly chemicals, UV bulbs, and gases. Safe, inexpensive, and sustainable. Visit EliteChipCare.com.
All right, we are back. Jeff, another big story that took place was one Mr. Daniel Negreanu getting back to his winning ways after, it's been like 8 years since he's had a big win, but he did it at the PokerGo Cup.
It has been a long time since Daniel Negreanu has won a poker tournament, and that's exactly what he did this week. He won event number 7 of the PokerGo Cup. He won the $50K for $700,000, beating David Coleman heads up. Just a spectacular performance. You could tell it was an emotional win for him, a breakthrough win for him. And it had been so long since he was able to jump into that winner's circle. And not only, chat, does he win the $50K, but entering the main event, he had a pretty good shot to win the PokerGo Cup. His first step was cashing. His second step would have been finish third or better to lock it up. That didn't happen. He finished in fourth. He got the min cash. He busted to Sam Savril, aces versus eights. It was pretty sick. So then what Negreanu needed was Sam Savril not to win the tournament. Heads up, Kerry Katz, Sam Savril, and Kerry Katz just dominated Savril. He wrecked him, Chad. He crushed him. He owned his soul. Katz wins more than $1 million for that win, and that opened the door for the winner of the inaugural PokerGo Cup, Daniel Negreanu.
I was excited. I was happy to see it. He has been taking some big hits right now, right? We've talked about it on the show. All those losses to Phil Hellmuth. He's had deep runs, but things weren't breaking his way. And he feels like his game is at its peak right now, that he's done all this studying, with the heads up challenge he did against Doug Polk. He really put in the hours and took his game to the next level with solvers and all that jazz. But he wasn't getting the results. And we had talked about it. You can be the best UFC fighter, the one who trains the most and in the best shape, but unless you're getting the knockouts or getting the wins, it doesn't amount to much. So he had to have been getting frustrated. And I think that's why we've seen him kind of be a little emotional over that victory. And hopefully this will be a big confidence boost, if you will, and we'll see more from Negreanu.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because we talk a lot about confidence and we talk a lot about momentum, and every single day he just came back and he said, to your point, I'm playing the best poker that I ever had and I'm kicking some ass. Like when they're deep stacked in these high roller fields, Negreanu had stack after stack after stack. He wasn't running well. He realized that, but his confidence never really wavered. So now I'm really curious to see what his future is like. Did that kick down the door for Daniel Negreanu to just have an exceptional 2021?
You said it earlier as we're recording this, the high roller event on WSOP.com is about to kick off. It's, I think, a $5,000 buy-in. It's going to be a smaller field. That might be an event where Negreanu can keep momentum going. I guess we'll have to wait and see. This wasn't in the outline because this just broke today, but I got a presser about more bracelet events are being added in August because WSOP.com has expanded into Pennsylvania. So they are going to do a series in August. It is going to start on August 8th, run through the 15th. So a week-long series, which will award 8 bracelets just to Pennsylvania players. You will have to be in Pennsylvania to actually do it. They've got some great free rolls happening that they're really trying to drum up some excitement for this. I'm curious, Jeff, what do you make of all this? Are you excited about more bracelets and one's being limited to a single state?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. At first I was like, oh man, why are they limiting bracelet events to one state? And then I think, well, you know what? They're limited to 2 states right now with these online bracelet events. So there's really no difference. Pennsylvania has a huge player pool. We've seen that with Poker Stars already in the mix. And I just think that the door is open here. We'll have the merged player pools next year. This year is a great trial process, Chad, especially because Pennsylvania is able to introduce that new software, that Poker 8 software, and that allows them to introduce new tournaments. So we have a couple of progressive knockout bracelet events for the first time and a couple of multi-flight bracelet events in the US for the first time. So if that software can translate over to Nevada and to New Jersey, if we can merge these player pools together, then that really makes me excited for next year. So I think this is a great trial version. I think it's a very reasonable number of bracelet events in 8. So I'm excited about it come next month.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's at first I was like, I don't know about this, but then like you said, it's New Jersey and Nevada right now. I would guess in 2022 we'll see a combined player pool. Maybe a Michigan gets in on it. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And look, I think that the world has adapted to now that the bracelets are maybe going to be referred to as he won an online bracelet,
sure,
or he won a live bracelet. Something like that. Like there is a difference between the two. But I think the poker world is at a point where it's going to be comfortable kind of differentiating, but honoring both still both great accomplishments. I mean, these are tough fields that we're seeing here.
It's still very worthy accomplishment to win an online bracelet. And also, Chad, we've had years of online bracelets now. I know there are more of them this year, but it's not going to screw up the numbers, right? I mean, somebody's going to pick up an extra, online bracelet or 2. Like Joe McKeon now has 3 career bracelets because he won 1 online bracelet. If Phil Hellmuth, for example, wins today, he's going to have 16 World Series of Poker bracelets because he has 1 online bracelet. Like I think it's totally fine to count them in the total bracelet hunt. And then sure, when you go through his actual resume, event by event, call it, this was a live bracelet, this was an online bracelet, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of online bracelet winners that have been taking place. Most recently, last night, there was a $500 no limit hold'em event, number 14 on the schedule. So we're just about at the halfway mark. And it was won by one Gianni Demirs. Cold War Kid is his screen name. And he defeated one David Williams. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because David Williams was runner-up to Greg Raymer in the 2004 WSOP main event. He's been around the industry for a long time. He did end up capturing a bracelet earlier in his career. And of course, he was on MasterChef and did really well on that TV show. And I like David Williams. I've known him for a long time. And look, I won't lie. I was rooting for him to take this one down, but had to settle for second place.
Well, yeah, same here, because, I mean, take a look at this storyline, right? David Williams is just out on the town in Las Vegas doing what he does, checking out this restaurant in Resorts World with a group of friends, all very good-looking people, as you can imagine. And he's got his iPad with him the whole time. And so he's got his iPad at dinner and he's firing this WSOP event. And then they're like, hey, let's go check out this bar at Resorts World. He says, sounds good. Let's go over to the bar. By the way, I'm chip leading in this online bracelet event. Brings the iPad with him. Fire. Hey, let's go to the secret speakeasy over here at Resorts World. He says, cool, I'll bring the iPad with me. I'm chip leading in this bracelet event. They run into Michael the Grinder Mizrahi. Like, it was just such a perfect storyline. It was the 2021 version of DePaulo winning the bracelet in the Whole Foods parking lot, right? It was David Williams running around Resorts World with his iPad, playing the WSOP event. I wish he would have won it too. It's still a heck of a story. It's still a fantastic story. And I know he'll get his second bracelet soon enough.
And actually, it was similar to what happened the day before in event number 13, which was a 1K freeze out.
Yeah.
Ryan Lang was in this. He took it down for his second career bracelet and $109,000. And he was playing from an iPad while he was out celebrating his wife's birthday at Red Rock Casino. And, that's just a great story, too. I'm sure there was lots of fun being had even before he won the bracelet. And that just turned into a celebration, a party I can only imagine.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. And it's also a great win for Lang in the 1K field, the 1K freeze out, which is going to be a tougher field than normal. 561 players, a prize pool of more than $500,000, and some pretty recognizable names. Ankush Mandavia at the final table. Jonas Wexler is there. Dan Zach, Alex Condon, the aforementioned Grinder ran deep. Kathy Liebert ran deep again. To win that event for more than $108,000. That's pretty cool. That's pretty special.
It was actually back-to-back two-time bracelet winner victories, because the day before in event number 12, that was a $500 no-limit hold'em turbo deep stack, got 959 entries and was won by one Brian Piccioli, goes by Pele online. Now, I was excited to see it. This is a guy who he's going to play every event. I see his name all the time. I watched him during the Win Millions. He was playing online bracelet events on his iPad, multi-tabling live and online. And here he is winning his second bracelet. He had previously won one in the 2013 World Series of Poker Asia Pacific. So now he's got an Asia Pacific bracelet. He's got an online bracelet. And Piccioli is just a grinder. He was at the final table of the WSOP main event back in 2007. I think he finished in 6th place.
Yeah, he's just so passionate about poker, right? I mean, we saw last year he went to Mexico to fire the GG online events. He made a deep run in that main event. He wins this one for more than $83,000. And you can tell he posted on Instagram. They sent the bracelet to him. He opened it up and you can tell it meant something to him. Like, sure, it's a turbo online, whatever. This is still a World Series of Poker event. It still comes with that bracelet that you can cherish so much.
This was no easy tournament either. Yeah,
No.
It was a turbo, but this final table had, including himself, had 4 different former WSOP main event finalists.
Wow.
He beat Dan Sindelar heads up. Dan Sindelar was at the final table years ago. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. And then there was Yi Yan, who was at the final table of the 2020 WSOP domestic main event last December. And then there was also Michael Dyer, who finished 3rd place, I think in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And then also, he's not a WSOP main event finalist, but one Mr. Darren Elias, the WPT GOAT, if you will. He's there as well. And this was a tough one, tough final table.
Yeah, I would say so. And sometimes these turbos draw tougher fields because those guys are so good with short stack play, right? Whereas the amateur player aren't really going to know what to do. You know, if I have 10 bigs in the hijack and I have ace-4 suited, is that a shove here? Is it not? That kind of thing? Do they overshove in some spots, undershove in others? So sometimes the pros really do have an advantage in these turbos.
And, going back before that, I think we left off last episode of the podcast after Jeremiah Williams had taken down event number 5. In between, there are another half a dozen winners or so. You had Tyler Denson, Michael Mercaldo, Carlos Welch, Philip Beck, Michael Lieb, and Vijay Para, all taking down their first ever bracelet. So that was exciting, but those weren't necessarily names that got the poker world juiced, if you will. I think when Brian Piccioli and Ryan Lang went back to back, and then you had David Williams going, I just feel like we're hitting a little momentum as far as excitement, especially now that the PokerGo Cup is done, all the Win Million stuff is done, the WPT at the Venetians is done. It seems to me now is the chance for the first time this month for the WSOP Online to take center stage.
Yeah, I think now you're going to see the cream of the crop, especially in this 5,300 that we keep referring to. So we're pretty due for a deep run from either Negreanu or from Helmuth. Now they've cashed multiple times, I believe. Negreanu 4 and Helmuth 3, but to run super deep in that one, I saw Kristen Bicknell's name pop up over these last couple of days. Foxen could very well be in the mix. Liam Surovich could be right there. Again, with no live high rollers going on, it just opens the door for these fields to become more and more stacked.
Well, let's talk some other WSOP news, Jeff. There's two bits. One isn't on the outline because this is just happening kind of as we speak, and the other is. Let's go to the one that is. This is the WSOP Europe. They've announced their schedule. It's going to take place November 19th through December 8th at King's Resort, which is just across the German border in Rozvadov, the Czech Republic. They're going to have 15 WSOP gold bracelets awarded, more than 11.5 million euros in guaranteed prize pools, buy-ins ranging from 350 euros all the way up to 50K. To me, it's good to see poker coming back to Europe with a big event like this. And look, we're used to it, right? The WSOP Europe has been around for a long time now. It's been at the King's Casino for a long time. And to me, this is just a great step moving forward. I feel like between the fall WSOP in Vegas and this WSOP Europe, 2021 is going to finish out strong, and we're going to go back into head into 2022 kind of more normal, if you will.
Yeah, and I think it also sets a good precedent for the future, right? Because I think now we've realized that we can have a month and devote them to online US events, and we can have another month and devote them to online international events, and we can have our 6 weeks in Las Vegas for the cream of the crop, the prime live World Series of Poker, and then we can have a couple of weeks for WSOP Europe. So I think it really helps to expand the spotlight across the World Series of Poker for years to come. And I really like the layout of the Europe schedule. It's not overwhelming by any means. There's a nice balance of price points as well.
It's going to be interesting because it actually overlaps just slightly with the fall WSOP in Vegas, which I think goes until November 23rd-ish.
That's right.
And the first event here kicks off on November 19th in Europe. So there'll be a slight overlap, but it should be post main event here in Vegas. So it'll be interesting. It should have some good cohesion, and who knows what the travel situation is going to be at then. So hopefully if some people from Europe can't make it to Vegas, they'll at least be able to make it down to the Czech Republic. And hopefully we see some Americans going over to the European version as well.
I think they will. Hey man, we know if that player of the year race is on the line, we're going to see some Americans flying over.
Well, Jeff, the other big, this is more rumor mill, if you will, because it's certainly not confirmed, is, the WSOP days at the Rio have been numbered for a while. Everybody seems to know that. It's going to take place at the Rio this year. It's already in the books, but 2022, not quite sure. 2023, very unlikely, but nobody knew where. There was a lot of speculation, but there was some news that came out, Jeff, and from an unlikely place, an unlikely source. Why don't you tell them about it?
Yeah, leave it to the Valley something. All due respect, leave it to a billiard/pool organization to post something on Facebook saying, guys, I know we're usually at Bally's for our big convention every year, but we're going to have to move to Westgate for 2022. Why? Well, because Bally's told us that the World Series of Poker was moving to Bally's/Paris in 2022. So like you said, Chad, this is not confirmed. There's no official word from the World Series of Poker as of yet. This story just broke today while we're recording this podcast. But it looks like that the WSOP is headed to Bally's/Paris next year.
It's interesting, right? Because you think the Rio, it's been the home of the World Series of Poker for so long. It's massive. Can they really pull something off on the Strip? But if you look at the numbers, it's interesting because at the Rio, it has approximately 140,000 total square feet. The pavilion room is the biggest room there, 55,000 square feet. The Amazon room, which is perhaps the most famous, a little over 39,000 square feet. But if you go over to the Paris, they have apparently, now I haven't been there, though I am in Vegas and might hop in my car and go check things out. Paris has 140,000 square feet, including one ballroom that's 85,000 square feet. So 30,000 square feet more than the pavilion room at the Rio. And then Bally's has another 175,000 total square feet, another big 40,000 square foot event center, a grand ballroom that's about 40,000 square feet. So it sounds, at least by the numbers, that it could be even bigger. And they connect the Bally's and Paris, I guess, are connected by like a tunnel or a walkway. Again, I haven't been there, but I think I'm going to go scope it out and just feel like, okay, is this where the WSOP might be? And if so, do I think it can work? Because look, I've spent a lot of time inside the hallways of the Rio.
Yeah, there is a walkway that connects it. Now, I think that you could have some events that could have split fields, or you could have your 11 a.m. events in Bally's and your 3 p.m. events in Paris. The possibilities are there. There is potential there. Now, we're also going to point to parking that we know is going to be an issue, right? And that's what the Rio was great for. There was almost unlimited parking. I mean, just about every single day of the summer, even on the most crowded days, you could still normally find a parking spot. That's going to be more difficult on the Strip. And then, of course, just dealing with Strip traffic. But for anybody who's flying into Vegas for World Series of Poker events, they get to stay on the Strip. They probably just walk over, boom, that's easy. So I'm probably being selfish as a Vegas resident thinking, okay, I'm going to drive down there from Summerlin. I'm going to run into this crazy Strip traffic because the World Series of Poker is taking place, et cetera, et cetera. Then will there be a place to park? I don't know. But I'm very intrigued by the layout of it all and how that could suit the WSOP really well and open the door for bigger and bigger events and a bigger World Series.
It'll be interesting to see. This is all speculation. It's unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Ty Stewart from the WSOP said that the organization has no comment on their 2022 venue. So we'll have to wait and see. And who knows, if it is there, maybe they work out some sort of shuttle system where people can park, get shuttled over, dropped off. Who knows? But it's exciting because, I mean, it feels right. I don't know. Like I said, it's rumor, but it feels like this could very well be the case. So very interesting stuff. Jeff, let us go to our guest because there is a big event happening. It's taking place in August at bestbet Jacksonville. All right, those festival dates are August 13th through the 31st, and it is going to culminate in the WPT bestbet Scramble main event August 27th through the 31st. That is going to be a $5,000 buy-in, $1 million guarantee, and they're also going to have a $50,000 high roller event, which I think was pretty exciting for that market. And I get into that and more with Deb Giardina. She heads up poker there at bestbet Jacksonville. She is an industry veteran, a Women in Poker Hall of Famer, and very well respected within our industry. So I am very excited to present to you my chat with Deb Giardina.
All right. I am joined by somebody I'm very excited to talk to, somebody who's been around the poker industry for a while. And well, you've been around the poker industry for a while, and I have too. And we've actually worked in the same markets in the Midwest. I've been down to bestbet Jacksonville. Our paths haven't crossed until now. Deb Giardina, I'm very excited. Thank you for taking the time to chat with PokerNews.
It's my pleasure, Chad. You do a great job. I'm glad we get to meet finally face to face.
Me too. It's one of those things. I know you in the past have worked at Canterbury Park up there in the Twin Cities, which was the first card room I ever played at back when I was 18. I traveled over from Wisconsin and got to play there. And you did such a great job there that your name is still talked about amongst the players in the Minnesota region. And working for the MSPT, of course, I heard that name quite a bit. And then the MSPT even came to bestbet a couple times, and I got to come down there, though never officially met you in person there.
Yeah, we love Canterbury, and believe it or not, many of our team members that are here came all the way from Canterbury. They went from Canterbury to Wynn to here. So my team, it's great. And we're a big family. And the different places that we leave and move on from, we still have family members at all, what we consider family members from our teams at all of those places. We stay very closely in touch.
Well, you're very well respected in the industry. In 2019, you were honored by the World Poker Tour with the WPT honors. And I think it was 2014, you were inducted into the Women in Poker Hall of Fame. And now you are at bestbet Jacksonville. You've been there for a while. You are the vice president of poker operations. And I'm excited to talk to you because bestbet is really gearing up for a great event coming up here. In August, the WPT is coming back to town. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And we're so excited to have them back. The pandemic's been tough because everything was kind of shut down and no tournaments, and you couldn't have more than a few people at a table at a time. So we're really getting back to pre-pandemic situations for the
Right.
most part, and we're very excited, and we love the World Poker Tour. We've been partners with them for 10 years now, so we're very happy to be hosting this event in August.
I mean, for those who aren't watching the video, there's a big WPT surfboard in the background there in your office.
There is. That is for the last man standing that was under 21. So we had that contest in the first couple of WPT events that we had here, and that was what the prize was. It was the trophy, was the WPT surfboard. So, and that was the model for it. And of course it ends up in my office because it's supposed to. My granddaughter wants to take it surfing, but I haven't let her do it.
Well, so tell us a little bit about the WPT series that's coming. What all is going to be included in this new post-pandemic reiteration of the WPT at bestbet?
We have so many great events going on with this. This series is going to be terrific. We have, of course, our main event, which is $1 million guarantee. We're excited about that because all the talent comes. We've got a high roller event that's a 25K buy-in, which happens on Thursday night before the main. We're excited about that. We've got a ladies event, of course. We've got a six-handed event. We've got a horse event. We've got PLO. We've got a little bit of something for everyone, actually. We have 3 guaranteed prize pool events. The first event is a $100,000 guarantee. Event number 7 is a $200,000 guarantee. And of course, the main event is $1 million guarantee.
I'm excited. I know PokerNews is going to be coming down there to do updates from the first 2 that you mentioned, the event number 1 and the event number 7. And then, of course, our friends at the WPT will be live reporting the main event. And I also believe we're going to do some updates from that high roller, which is pretty exciting. I mean, that's a big event. You usually see these sort of high rollers in Vegas or in California, but you guys are going big with this one.
So here's something that's really exciting about that event. We have high hand promotions, which are very popular here. So it's a high hand of an hour or a high hand of a half hour, and they win something, whether it's money or what. Well, in this case, they are going to be winning a seat into a satellite that will get them into the high roller event. We expect that with all of these high hand events and the satellites that are going to be happening for this, we think we're going to have 6 of our regular players in that $25,000 buy-in high roller event. So
that's pretty impressive. I've been to bestbet during some major online or major live poker series, and one of the things I always appreciated that you guys have done is these sort of promotions in these satellites and really feeding in the player base who might not otherwise get an opportunity to play. It seems like you guys recognize the importance of that and really take it to heart.
We like to treat our local players and our non-local players, to things that they couldn't normally do. And most players, let's face it, your average player is not entering a $25,000 buy-in. So they are really excited, and the energy is tremendous, and it's just so much fun.
So of all these events we just talked about, do you have one that's going to be your favorite that you're looking forward to the most?
Well, the main event is really my favorite because it brings in all the talent, and we haven't seen the World Poker Tour people. They're my friends. We haven't seen them. We missed last year. So everybody's really excited to get together again with the WPT staff, and they do such a great job, as you know. So Sam Cariati and Keta is going to be here, and the Royal Flush Girls, and I don't know if it's going to be Vince or if it's I don't know who's going to be here. Vince or Tony, I'm not sure yet, or Matt, or all of them. We don't know exactly who yet, but we'll be happy to have any or all of them. So we get excited about that. And the satellites leading up to it, we have all kinds of promotions, including the one we just talked about. We have a 5-seat guarantee, one of our satellites. There's 5 packages given away. And what that includes is a buy-in for the first event, which is a $100,000 guarantee. The 7th event, which is a $100,000 guarantee, and the $1 million main event. So it's unbelievable.
You guys
The
started.
buy-in for that is it's actually a 6K guarantee package is what happens for five different players.
Wow.
And the buy-in for that is $560. So $560, and there'll be satellites that'll get into that satellite. So we have this great satellite program. My team is amazing. My tournament staff and my managers, Jesse Hollander is instrumental, and
I love Jesse.
Donnie, Jesse's great. So they work hard and put this package together, and Arlie and all these different things. The structure's terrific. So we're looking forward to having a great turnout and a good time.
I think it probably harkens back to what you mentioned earlier in the interview. Just you use the word family, and that's what I think about when I think about the Best Bet Jacksonville card room. You guys don't have, a ton of turnover or managers going in and out or leaving, and I think it's a testament to that family dynamic that no doubt that you've helped build, because I've heard the same thing from when you worked at Canterbury Park and Wynn, and it's just a mentality we don't see a lot these days in poker operations.
I believe that's why we're so successful, because we instill that family culture in our staffing. And let's face it, for the most part, you treat your family right. There's always dysfunctions in every single family, whether it's a work family or a home family, and you get through it and you figure it out and you move on. And that's what we do. So that is our theory. That's our motto, if you will.
Maybe that's why this partnership with WPT, which this goes back 10 years now, works so well, is because I think the WPT has that same sort of mentality of having a family dynamic and atmosphere.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. It's funny because when we came here, when Best Bet came to Las Vegas to find us, they came and they found us and said, hey, you should come to Florida. And I said, well, why would I want to do that? I work at Wynn Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas. Why am I going to go to Florida? Why am I going to do that? Well, the opportunity to build a whole new business. They already were in business, but if you look at the history of the Florida poker market, they started out with a 25-cent game, and then a $2, and then a $100 pot. So the limits had been lifted, but only recently. So we were building from the ground up, and we were building a new property. So our Best Bet Jacksonville, where you've been, didn't exist when we came here. They brought us here to help design that room and build it and put it together and hire the staff and all of that. And we put a televised WPT tour event on that property less than a month after we opened, which is totally insane. I look back at it now and I think, holy moly, we are so Ivy. What was I thinking? But we did it. We pulled it off, and it was fabulous. So we like the challenge, and we always rise up to it.
Yeah, you guys have done a great job of putting area of the country really on the map when it comes to poker, and it's through no small part to the WPT. The bounty scramble. I always love the bounty aspect of tournaments. Even before I worked in the industry, I remember the WPT did it was on the other coast, the Bay 101 Shooting Star, which is no longer, but that was one of my favorite events. And then I was so happy to see you guys. It wasn't a replication, but it was a different kind of twist on the bounty. And you guys get a lot of big names to come to Jacksonville, which prior to you guys being there, like I said, wasn't a destination for poker, but you've made it that way.
Yep, we are very happy and excited to have the big names when they come in, and they like being here because they're treated well. And our business is poker. We're not a big casino, so we focus on the poker player. In a lot of places where these events take place, they're in a casino, and the poker player is not who is focused upon in the casinos for the most part, right? They have slots, they have table games, they have all these other criteria that the players that are catered to have to participate in. Well, we don't have that. You have to participate in poker, and we take care of you. I mean, we also have our Florida games now, which is a twist that we've had for about 5 years. So we have other derivatives of poker, like Ultimate Texas Hold'em, 3-card poker, that type, 1-card poker, 2-card poker, Pai Gow, face-up Pai Gow. I mean, we have a DJ Wild. There's a bunch of other table game type games that you can play while you're waiting to get into a game that, you know, you're on a list for possibly. So
it's one of my favorite things about Best Bet when I went there is I've been to hundreds of casinos and card rooms across the country. And then there's a big difference between a property like Best Bet, which is a card room, right? It's not a casino, a full-fledged casino. You're not going to go and find slots and all that there. And it gives you the opportunity to really focus on poker and making it a great experience and putting on a great product, which you guys do in spades. So anybody listening to this, if you've never been there, I highly recommend it. And I know that once you do, you're going to love it, because one thing I see over and over again at Best Bet is pros returning. In fact, I've seen other big tournaments across the country taking place, and then Best Bet might be having something, and I see a lot of the bigger name pros opting to come to you guys because they love what you do there.
But we certainly roll out the red carpet. That is the truth. and we also, our live stream, Best Bet Live, is really gained popularity. So we are live streaming final tables of our regular tournaments and cash games. So, and our live stream, we have people going and traveling from across the country to play on our live stream on a weekly basis. So we're really raising the bar, if you will.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, I've been down there a handful of times. I like to play some PLO cash games. You guys had some great PLO cash games.
We have some great PLO cash games. There's no question about that.
This series is going to be great. It's going to run from August 13th through August 31st. We mentioned that there are a bunch of side events, some big guarantees happening, and of course, will culminate with the $5,000 buy-in, $1 million guarantee, WPT Best Bet Scramble. The dates on that, August 27th through the 31st. So right there, the last weekend in August. It's going to be good. It's going to be a great event. I'm very excited that the WPT is back. I'm very excited that you guys are back in this post-pandemic world. And I expect nothing but great things going forward at Best Bet.
That's great. And just so everybody knows, the criteria, we follow the CDC's criteria. So what the place we are in now for the space right now, who knows, I suppose that could change by August, but maybe not. So right now, as the CDC recommends, if you're vaccinated, there's no need to wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, we strongly recommend that you wear a mask, but we don't insist on masks. So it is a personal choice. We have hand sanitizer throughout the room, so you can sanitize your hands, and we're playing 8-handed, which is good. So those are our criteria at this point. That's what it is.
Well, poker is coming back in a big way for a lot of the reasons. I know others are expecting a lot of the World Series of Poker this fall to maybe be the biggest and the best. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think your guys' WPT Best Bet Scramble is probably going to be the biggest and best. There's just such a pent up demand for poker right now. And,
that is true.
Yeah, the show you guys run is great. And if anybody wants more information, check it out. You can go to worldpokertour.com. They have it up there. You can also go to bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com. Deb Giardina, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us at Poker News, and good luck with the upcoming series.
Thanks, Chad. Nice to see you. I look forward to seeing you here.
Likewise.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right. A big thank you to Deb Giardina for taking the time to chat with us. Definitely mark your calendar for the WPT that's heading to Best Bet Jacksonville, or go check out some of their side events. It's going to be big. I've been there. Best Bet Jacksonville is amongst my favorite places to play, and I highly recommend it. We're going to talk about some WPT news. There was a big event at the Venetian, but before we do, thank our last sponsor, which is Party Poker. Right now, they have two great promotions going on. One is the Legend of the Week, where you can become a Legend of the Week by climbing any of Party Poker's 5 prize leaderboards. There are tournament tickets worth up to $1,000 on offer. Simply play in daily Legend tournaments to earn leaderboard points. You can buy into the action for just $2.20. There's also the Community Poker Knockout, which is all about fun, prizes, and of course, poker. Every month for just $5.50, players from different online communities will come together to battle it out on the felt. There will be $50 bounties on the heads of celebrity players, giving you the chance to get rewarded and earn bragging rights at the same time. This month's Community Poker Knockout will begin at 7 p.m. BST on Thursday, July 29th, which is just about 2 weeks from right now. So be sure to check it out. That's Party Poker Legend of the Week and Party Poker Community Poker Knockout. All right, Jeff, our last story was a big WPT Deepstacks held at the Venetian here in Las Vegas. It was a big one, and it was, I mean, another home run for the WPT in Venetian, right?
Yeah, I would say so. 1,512 entries for a $2,400 main. Just another absurd turnout that we are seeing time after time after time, especially over these last couple months. Elia Lesra makes the final table. He finishes in sixth for a little bit more than 112K. Sean Daniels, Thomas Boyven, also in the hunt. Jim Gilbert finished in fifth. Albert Nafo takes it down for more than $530,000. Again, off a $2,400 buy-in. That is quite impressive.
Yeah, it certainly was. And kudos to the WPT team, to Tommy LaRosa and his team at the Venetian. They had their WPT main event. They had their WPT Deepstacks here. Both massive successes, and both taking place during the Venetian's Summer Deepstacks Championship, which is still going on. In fact, I'm hoping to go play an event or two down there while I'm in town, because they do have a great offering. And you know, it's pretty impressive. I'm loving poker right now in Las Vegas. The Wynn just hit it out of the park. Venetian is hitting it out of the park. The WSOP is going online right now. You had Resorts World opening. They have a new poker room. I got my ass handed to me at Golden Nugget, but aside from that, yeah, it's all pretty exciting right now.
Hey, that Golden Nugget game can be pretty swingy, huh?
You know, no, it's a 1-2, no cap on the buy-in. You can just sit down with whatever you want. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm actually going down to Golden Nugget next week to have lunch with Andy Rich, the director of poker operations there. They're going to have their Grand Poker Series taking place this fall. They just released the schedule on that. So if you're going to be in town for the World Series of Poker and want to supplement it with some side events, maybe check out what they have going on at the Grand. I also expect that the Venetian and the Wynn will put up some fall offerings, and there'll be no shortage. It'll be exciting, and it's football season, right? Dolphins are coming to Vegas to play the Raiders right before the start of the series, so I'm coming in a few days early, and fingers crossed, going to go check out that game.
You're just going to live the dream over a couple months in the fall in Las Vegas. It's going to be fantastic.
I mean, I'm hoping right now my Milwaukee Bucks just won, tied up the series 2-2 yesterday. Hence why we're recording this podcast a little later than usual, because I may have celebrated and needed a little recovery time this morning. But it's very exciting. I usually wasn't an NBA guy. I know you are. You worked in that whole industry, so it's exciting stuff.
Man, the Bucks also have all the momentum, and yeah, that finals game last night. I mean, we had a couple blowouts first three games, but that game four was something special. I can't imagine what it was like for a Bucks fan. So cherish that moment, party, go hard, take your time to recover. It's worth it, baby. This is the NBA Finals.
Well, speaking of blowouts, I think I'm kind of blowing you out in our little fantasy competition with these WSOP online bracelets, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Maria could just play, that would be a step in the right direction for my team. If Maria could just play. It's not over yet. Doesn't look fantastic, but we're going to get her to play, and then we'll turn it on. All
right, well, we'll wait and see. We'll have more WSOP news for you next week. We're going to have some great guests lined up. I can assure you I'm working hard at getting some big names in poker, so I'm pretty excited about that. In the meantime, be sure to tell your friends and fellow poker players to listen to Jeff and I here on the PokerNews podcast. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe, give us that 5-star review, and we'll talk to you next week. As Sarah would say, deuces.